I'm finally gonna tell you my honest opinions about the iPhone 15 Pro Max. I've now had it for 6 months and I do have some opinions about it. And I'm just gonna share if I honestly think this phone is worth it, because it is a very pricey phone. Because I mean, every iPhone is pricey, but especially this one, I spent like over $2,000 at it, which we can talk more about later. But yeah, let's just start with the biggest thing I'm kind of disappointed about with this phone, and that is the action button. I'm not even kidding when I say I haven't used the action button once since I got this phone. Like, I tried it out, obviously, because it was a new thing on this iPhone, and I was honestly really excited about it. I was like, I'm gonna use it every day. It's gonna be so much easier to just click this and use it as like a shortcut. But I haven't used it once. Not even once. And this just hit me a few weeks ago. I was like, wait, the iPhone 15 Pro Max has an action button? Like, I honestly forgot it. So now you might be wondering, why haven't I used it? Honestly, I just don't find the action button necessary at all. Like, the main purpose of the action button is for something on your phone to become more accessible, and just with an easy press, you can access an app or a feature. But I already find everything like pretty accessible on my phone. So I tried out a few of the options, like turning on silent mode, but that literally makes this no different than previous iPhones, because you could already do that. And then you can use it to turn on voice memo, but I literally never use voice memo. You can also turn on a focus mode, but I think that's already pretty accessible. You just swipe down and literally press focus and then a focus mode. And also I have so many focus modes, and with the action button you can only turn on one, and I switch between so many different ones every day. And then you can also turn on a flashlight, but you can also literally do that from your lock screen with just a tap. Like, it's so easy. Like, it takes a second. So I don't know why I would use the action button for that. And then you can also access magnifier, but I never used magnifier. So pretty much the only useful feature I could use the action button for is to create a custom shortcut, such as unlocking your car. But that obviously requires you to actually have a car that can unlock from your phone. But this is actually one feature I think is really cool. If you do have a car that could unlock from your phone, like, instead of having to go into your phone app and press unlock, which isn't many steps honestly, but it's just one step less to literally press a button and unlock your car, which is actually really cool that you can unlock your car by just pressing your phone. Okay, so if you were looking to do this, you just go into shortcuts and then down to the Tesla app, and here you have the unlock Tesla option, and just do new shortcut. Okay, and then we're gonna go into the action button settings, choose shortcut, and then here you have unlock Tesla. And then another shortcut I think could be useful for the action button is just connecting it to an app you already use a lot. So for example, if you often go into your notes app, so connecting the action button doesn't require you to actually unlock your phone and go into your apps. You can just press the action button and then open the app. But on the other side, you can already do that from your lock screen. Since you can customize your lock screen in so many ways now, you can have a shortcut to an app on your lock screen and just tap it, and then with one tap already access the app. So it kind of does the same thing as the action button. So you don't really need the iPhone 15 if you quickly want to access an app. So yeah, I'm just not sure I find the action button very useful, but let me know if you use it for something actually useful. Alright, I just also have to add, my boyfriend just told me he's using the action button for this, and it's actually really smart, so I have to share. So just make sure you have ChatGPT downloaded on your iPhone, like the ChatGPT app, and then go into shortcuts and go down to the ChatGPT app under app shortcuts. If you press start voice conversation for like 2 seconds, and then create new shortcut, and then done. And then go into your action button settings and do shortcut, and then start a voice conversation with ChatGPT. So now if I lock my phone and press the action button, hello.
How can I help you today?
What is the square root of 9?
Square root of 9 is 3. Anything else you want to know?
Point is, instead of using Siri, like sometimes Siri can be really annoying. It's not the smartest like voice bot. I feel like ChatGPT is much quicker and just better at answering questions. Like obviously you can use Siri for starting a timer and stuff like that, but for doing more like serious questions, the ChatGPT voice is much better. Okay, and then for the camera, obviously you're hoping to get a little bit better camera quality for every iPhone that comes out. It obviously gets a little bit better, but keyword little. It's not like every time I'm going into my camera, I'm thinking the quality is so much better than my previous iPhone. It's really not that different. I mean, obviously if you're switching from an iPhone 11 to an iPhone 15, you're probably gonna notice. And I feel like kind of every iPhone nowadays has that iPhone quality. Like if someone's posting a picture on Instagram from an iPhone 13 Pro Max compared to an iPhone 15 Pro Max, like you're not gonna notice. All you're gonna see is that it's taken from an iPhone, but you're not going to be able to tell which iPhone. So if the difference isn't noticeable, it's not worth spending money on. So those were some little negative things about the iPhone 15 Pro Max, but there are some positive things as well that I really like about this phone. And the first one is it's so much lighter than previous iPhones. Like it is an actually noticeable difference. This was my literally first impression when I picked up this phone. Eventually you obviously get used to the lighter iPhone. It's not like I'm thinking right every time I pick up my phone I'm like, oh, it's so light. Like you obviously get used to it, but every time I now pick up an iPhone 14 Pro Max, like I think that all the previous iPhones are so heavy. So it's definitely something you're gonna notice. And yeah, it's just a very big difference, especially if you're getting an iPhone 15 Pro. The iPhone 15 Pro, it weighs nothing. But if you're used to the iPhone Pro Max models, you're definitely still gonna be able to tell a difference. And also, I feel like with me being on my phone a lot, it really helps my wrists, because I used to feel a little like sore in my wrists after using my phone for a long time when I had the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Like I would just hold it in a really weird position and my wrist would get really sore from holding it. But I feel like this one, it weighs so little. I haven't felt like anything in my wrists. Like honestly, right now, I feel like I couldn't go back to a 14 Pro Max just because of this. So yeah, I feel like that is a really good perk of this phone. Then also one thing I love is the zoom on this camera. The 5x zoom in feature is so useful. I use it all the time. I used to always feel restricted with my iPhone 14 Pro Max. I would zoom in 2 times and then it would be like it's not enough. And if you zoom in more than 2 times on the iPhone 14 Pro Max, it gets really blurry and like not as good quality. So now that I have the iPhone 15 Pro Max, I'm using the 5x zoom in a lot. Like I use it all the time. I can put some footage here of videos and pictures I've taken with it. It's just really good to have such a huge zoom range. And yeah, if you're taking a lot of pictures with your phone, I would say this is a kind of a deal breaker. Like obviously you might not want to spend $1,000 just for the zoom, because you could literally get a really good camera for that price. But I think it's really useful because you always have your iPhone with you, and if you just want to zoom in on something, you can take some really good quality pictures now. And then the battery life. This is something I had a lot of issues with my iPhone 14 Pro Max. Like I would run out of battery all the time, literally every day. I do use my phone a lot, but I'm not using it that much. Like I'll definitely have it in the background, you know, having on maps or listening to a podcast. Pretty much always have it running, but I'm not like on my screen all the time. Also, I do take a lot of pictures, I guess that kind of drains the battery. But yeah, I would constantly, like even before my day was done, run out of battery. Like, but with the 15 Pro Max, I've never had that issue. So I would say the battery life is definitely better. But also if the battery life is your only reason for upgrading, it might be cheaper to just get a power bank like for $30 instead of getting a new iPhone for $1,000. And those are kind of the main things I have to say about this phone. There are some good features like not as much weight and a good zoom, but other than that, I feel like it is very much like the iPhone 14 Pro Max. So is it worth $2,000 or even $1,000? I don't think so. I mean, if you have the money to spend, definitely get it. It's definitely a good upgrade, but you could definitely spend $1,000 on better things. But also note that even though the iPhone 15 is really expensive, if you do want to upgrade, just definitely look into Apple's trade-in program and see if you can get any discount on your iPhone 15 by trading in your old phone. Or you can also sell your old iPhone through a third party like Facebook Marketplace or something and get an even bigger discount. So I think I ended up paying only about $700 for mine after selling my old iPhone. And for $700, I feel like it's a better deal, but honestly, I still don't think it's worth it. So yeah, but that was honestly everything I have to say about this phone. Before I end this video, I just want to say I am really happy about this phone. Like, it's a great phone, but I guess I just expected more. So yeah, alright, but thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.